Ladies and gentlemen, Call of Duty is a fantastic franchise to experience if you're not a yearly subscriber. I myself decide whether I cop a COD based on a simple formula I adopted around the original Modern Warfare 3. If it's Infinity Ward, it's ass. If it's Sledgehammer, it's a coin flip that usually lands on tails for me. And if it's Treyarch, it's goated. So it happens that this year, Treyarch cooked, Treyarch seared, and Treyarch boiled. But they didn't quite grill.
Oh my god.
Broadly speaking, Black Ops 6 is a fantastic Call of Duty experience that is the equivalent of Black Ops 2 in this modern era of Call of Duty. I'm not saying that they're equal, but they are on par. The crown that Black Ops 2 holds in the Golden Era is the same crown that Black Ops 6 holds in the Silver Era. Before diving straight into it, I have to mention that this game is always online, meaning that in 10 years from now, you potentially could not be able to experience the campaign, multiplayer, or zombies if Activision decide to repurpose the servers for something else. And worse yet, if you happen to lose connection or crash during a campaign mission, you'll have to go through the hassle of launching the game, then selecting campaign, which will launch a different executable, all because of Activision's determination to normalize this awful Call of Duty HQ shtick they have going on. With that said, you can use the timestamps on screen to jump into the section you care about, or just let me keep yapping on your second monitor as we jump into the campaign. Instead of blaming real American war crimes on Russians, like some Indian street food tier developers would, Black Ops 6 follows the espionage design philosophy of Black Ops Cold War, but to a lesser degree, as it strips some elements like the evidence board and side missions in favor of a more curated experience that gives you the classic shooty shoot with a sprinkle of refreshing Bioshock elements, or more precisely, Atomic Heart elements, if we're to take aesthetic delivery into consideration. It starts off as a typical blockbuster Call of Duty, but it quickly pivots into the Black Ops niche. Were it not for the narrative acting as a glue, each mission would feel like a different game, because they fundamentally follow different design approaches. You have the linear shooty shoot, which is followed by a stealth mission where you have to infiltrate the Ops Goon Cave and give all those who think Fallout 3 is good the burial they deserve. Then you're undercover in a closed event with an objective that can be approached in 3 different ways. After which, you're in a Far Cry-esque open world setting that gives you a map full of checklists to tackle or ignore. And this diversified gameplay design continues all the way until the credits. This showcases that if Treyarch were not shackled in Activision's Call of Duty production line, they could make some incredible things. Because, spoiler alert, this is an actual spoiler alert by the way, not just some meme, the way Treyarch play around with horror elements in certain missions is quite captivating. It isn't an overarching horror in which you know there is a reason to be scared as you go forward. It's more subtle and makes your imagination go into overdrive and create tension that Treyarch very successfully exploit. Now you might be asking yourself, what the hootin' heck does Call of Duty have to do with this? Or that?
I am under the water.
And I don't know. The Black Ops line of Call of Duties always had some anchoring on the psychological, but this specifically feels like they cranked it up till the knob broke. It's weird seeing zombies in the campaign, but at the same time, it isn't horrible in the way it's presented. As a whole, both returning and new characters are good, the set pieces and locales are beautiful, as to be expected from a multi-gazillion dollar franchise, and the animations are fabulous. Remember guys, this is a Call of Duty game, a yearly shooter, not an RPG. yet for some reason it has more authentic character interactions than actual supposed RPGs. Like, Bethesda could never give a character different animations depending on where you approach them from.
For me, impossible.
Overall, it's a good campaign with goated missions, but it's not quite good enough to go toe-to-toe with Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, or Black Ops Cold War in my book. Between most missions, you will be in the safe house, where you can walk around and talk to characters or solve a little puzzle that I found to be extremely well made. It's not hard, but it has enough vagueness for you to interpret the steps in numerous ways. For example, when I saw a code lock, I immediately ran back to the entrance because I remembered there was a board there that has codes on it and what bunker they're associated to. Turns out that this board is just for show. The way you figure out the code is by scanning fingerprints and then brute forcing combinations till you get the right one. It's a dope minigame by all means. The same can be said about the hacking minigame that I wholeheartedly support as being the standard for any game that tries to implement something similar. It is light years beyond what Fallout games bring to the table in that regard. The last step of the puzzle has you figuring out a code and opening a safe that gives you money. Safes like this can be found in every mission, which is a nice incentive to look around and explore. And this money is used to give yourself a variety of perks to help in said missions or to buy weapon blueprints for multiplayer and zombies. Which brings us to the reason I bought this game.
I'm a goddamn onion, man.
The multiplayer of Black Ops 6 is something I did not enjoy whatsoever during the beta. It felt very detached from the arcadey feeling that Treyarch generally deliver. So much so that I actually refunded the game on Steam to get it cheaper on Battle.net, which is something I never do because I love me some Steam achievements. But since Black Ops 6 is on the garbage Call of Duty HQ, its achievements are bundled with Modern Warfare 3's achievements, so there's actually reverse incentive for me to get Black Ops 6 on Steam. Now with the full release, I have been enjoying the multiplayer way more than I should. Artistically speaking, the game is Treyarch through and through. The colors are beautiful and vibrant, and the game doesn't take itself too seriously, whilst also not making a joke of itself with embarrassing skins.
That shit is fucking trash, dog.
The game as a whole has that special hook that allows it to nestle itself in your mind, be it the main menu theme getting stuck in your head without your consent, or all the funny relatable experiences shared all over social media. A lot of them anchor on the two big selling points of Black Ops 6. The first is the ability to take an enemy as a human shield and whisper sweet little nothings in their ear as you give them backshots.
Yeah, boy, yeah.
Which is just a hilarious addition.
Giving him back shots.
The other and more focal one is Omni Movement. The ability to run, slide, and dolphin dive in any direction. I personally did not care for this much during the marketing phase, but now that I've been playing extensively, I am exhilarated that this is a feature. To hell with boots on the ground and jetpack Call of Duties. Booty on the ground is where it's at. Movement as a whole feels fantastic in this game, not just the Omni movement part. Proning, for example, no longer forces you to do a full body 180 to switch angles, as now your body does its own thing without affecting your perspective. And looking around corners and the likes has this visual upgrade where your character does a slight lean. Now I've been slowly working towards the mastery camo, so I've got to experience most weapons, and largely I can say they feel very good to use. Not just because of their inherent feeling, but also because Treyarch, in a 5 billion IQ move, made attachments actually fun to play around with, as the vast majority come with no cons. With good movement and good weapons, you have a solid foundation for a fun game. Anything on top of that is just icing on the cake. And boy, Black Ops 6 has a lot of icing. When it comes to making classes, you have a lot of versatility. If you pick 3 perks of the same color, you get a specialty bonus. Red or Enforcer will increase your movement speed and grant you increased health regen upon killing someone. It's comprised of perks that mostly play into movement, which I don't really think are worth the slot in comparison to other colors. The Enforcer benefit has a slight delay before healing you, making it a kinda shitty specialty, especially when stim shots will give you more reliable healing, while the Warcry field upgrade will give you a longer lasting Enforcer buff.
Let's go!
Blue or Recon will give you High Alert, a visual display of from what direction you're being aimed at. For some unbelievably dumb reason, this has no counters. So someone running Recon will 100% of the time ruin flanking attempts. Recon is comprised of perks that play into stealthy intel styles with options like Ghost, Ninja, Cold-Blooded, and the likes. At launch, this specialty also had the broken benefit of giving you a 2-second long live scan of enemies when you respawn, which completely destroyed the fun of the game. Since then, it has been nerfed to like 0.5 seconds, thankfully. And the goated or strategist will give you increased score for playing the objective and destroying enemy equipment, while also giving you faster equipment and field upgrade deployment. As you'd expect, strategist is comprised of perks that play into the score aspect, with things like dispatcher, or into playing the objective aspect with survivability options like Flak Jacket and Guardian. You also have wildcards, so if you want to run strategist but also want to have the Ghost perk, which is part of the blue family, you can run perk Greed and enjoy the best of both worlds. Or you can run a variety of other wildcards for more tacticals, 2 different field upgrades, 2 primary weapons, more attachments on your weapon, etc. Aside from the Mastery camo, the completionist in me wants every calling card and Mastery badge, so I've been using every tactical, lethal, and field upgrade for some time, and I just have to say, all of them have use cases they excel at. Like the Spy Cam, for example, gives you a live scan of anyone caught in the snapshot. That's an incredibly powerful benefit, but is it more powerful than having the ability to heal instantly? Maybe? That entirely depends on your playstyle, and that's applicable to lethals and field upgrades too. As a 39-year-old man, I sometimes fail to kill enemies before they get behind cover, so I run the drill charge in case that happens. All of these camos and mastery badges give a nice amount of XP, and that XP is a worthy pursuit because prestiging in Black Ops 6 is back to the classic and beautiful formula it had in the past, where you just hit max level and reset everything. Well, almost everything. Weapon levels, unlocked camos, completed challenges and such will remain unaltered, but you will have the leveling ladder to go through again with some item you shouldn't have for your level if you decide to perma unlock. One of the greatest things about this leveling ladder is that there is a constant stream of rewards, like this goated operator skin in Prestige 3. So you have a good, fun foundation, you have a bazillion incentives to engage with said foundation, and you get sweet rewards for doing it all, which far as I'm concerned is the perfect formula for greatness. Now with all this greatness, there are downsides, the most obvious of which is the maps. I wouldn't say the maps are terrible per se, but there's realistically only 3 maps I would be excited to play on, those being Vorkuta, Subsonic, and Extraction. The rest I'm either indifferent to or completely disgusted by. And it's not like the maps are underwhelming because of visuals or anything like that. They're underwhelming because the spawns are baffling, which makes a lot of games for me feel like I'm more focused on where enemies are gonna spawn next as opposed to where enemies are at current.
What are these spawns?
Another downside is the camo grind itself. On one side, it's simplified and promotes just playing the game as you usually would by excluding stupid challenges like mounted kills, kills while there's a dildo on your ass, and shit that Infinity Ward loves doing. But on the other, it kinda kills archetype uniqueness. You gotta get 100 headshots with each weapon to unlock the 2 special challenges that are usually nothing special. Now with things like assault rifles, SMGs, LMGs, headshots are a good focus. But getting headshots with snipers and shotguns just feels wrong. I feel like shotguns should have had 100 point blank kills instead, and snipers could have had 1-shot 1 kills or long shots. You know, things that feel more natural for that archetype. As a whole, I'm kinda torn on it. Having the main focus be headshots really makes you appreciate the goated headshot sound effect. But it can also make you lose some gunfights, since the head's hitbox is smaller and requires being more precise, yet it offers little to no damage multiplication. I don't know if this is really a downside, but I do feel like the score streaks are severely lacking unmanned options. Any good score streak you could use to wipe out the opposition is one that you have to control on the Goon laptop. But if you want to focus on gunplay and have score streaks support that, your options are quite limited. You have the expected UAV, CUAV, HARP, and an attack helo that gets shut down in 2 seconds. You don't have anything akin to dogs or swarm. Here is a major downside. On PC, there is no option to disable crossplay.
You fucking monkey.
The reason this is a major downside is because Call of Duty is notorious for having an insanely strong aim assist. I don't mind losing a gunfight to someone who is better. That feels fair. But seeing I lost because someone's aim is being controlled for them is enough for me to not continue in that match, or perhaps even multiplayer as a whole. Pretty much everything mentioned so far is directly applicable to zombies. I have to preface this segment by saying I am not a COD Zombies lore master, nor am I an Easter egg connoisseur. I have a very surface level understanding of things, and from that standpoint, I found the zombies to be extremely fun. It's a very good mode to turn your mind off and just click on pixels as you listen to some video or song. Narratively speaking, I don't know how Black Ops 6 connects to past games, but I do know it does connect to Modern Warfare 3 zombies, which I find to be absolutely disgusting.
Mixed race
franchise.
cringe.
Due to my lack of knowledge, I will let my crow Opajack take the reign and talk about Black Ops 6 zombies, because he has completed every Easter egg and we generally bounce ideas off each other to identical or similar outcomes. Meaning that if I had his knowledge, I'd be saying what you are about to hear.
No. Hello guys, I'm Opajack. I'm that one guy you see in all of Serjuh's YouTube videos cause no one else wants to play with him. So I've been playing zombies since World at War thanks to the great videos made back in the day. Ever since then, I've played every map, I've hit max prestige.
You fucking pussy!
I've walked the tortured path, I've done every Easter egg. Minus these 2 maps, because I don't want to pay for them. I also haven't done Beast from Beyond, because who the fuck wants to play Beast from Beyond? I even got the Mastery camo in Vanguard. In Vanguard! And Modern Warfare Zombies! So when Serjuh came up to me and asked me to do this part of the review, I thought, well, why not? Now, usually every time we get zombies, it's quite a different game. Like, sure, fundamentally they are the same game mode, but every entry is different or completely unique. Okay. This time around, Black Ops 6 Zombies feels more like
Hey, we listened to your feedback. Here is an improved version of Cold War Zombies. Please pre-order now for the special Ultra Camo with the Prestige Gold Edition.
So I'll be comparing it a lot with Cold War Zombies. We'll take a look at what changed, how they addressed the feedback, and see if it's worth picking up and trying out. Little side note, Call of Duty has begun to use AI art and regenerative art for voice actors. They even went as far as to pretty much recast the entire Zombies crew due to them not getting protection from said AI. So if you're not into the whole AI thing, I do not recommend getting this game. Black Ops 6 Zombies is round base. If you couldn't tell from the marketing,
Round base zombies is back.
Round base zombies is back.
Round base zombies is back.
Neighbors?
I thought this would be important to say because, you know, for some reason we got these fucking game modes. So before I get into the maps we have now, I'd like to get the basics of the game out of the way, starting with the gameplay. The gameplay is honestly mostly the same as Black Ops Cold War, but things have been streamlined to make the game more fun and engaging. You spawn in with your loadout, which is right here. It has your gun, melee, nades, and special ability. Once you spawn in, you kill zombies, you progress through the map, you get your upgrades, and then you either do the main quests or just go through the rounds in exfil. Yeah, that's it. That's zombies. So let's take a look at some of the changes they've made. Wonder Fizz, which lets you buy every perk, is now available at round 25 rather than at the start. They got rid of blue salvage, so you no longer have to keep track of 3 currencies. Armor has been switched to a wall buy, meaning you can save your salvage for the arsenal. Pack-a-Punch no longer has a menu, because why the fuck did it have one in the first place?
Gotta hand it to you, machine. You do not disappoint.
Pack-a-punch, just like me. Those undead flesh sacks are gonna get creamed!
Pack-a-Punch is honestly still a little soulless without the jingle or animation, but this is much better than having to do this shit.
Brother,
The arsenal now has some personality, like the perk machines.
Well, looky here. Walking dog shit playing arm.
And with armor now being a wall buy and pack losing its menu, ammo mods have replaced that empty slots, meaning you still have to fucking navigate a armor plate levels now also increase your damage reduction percentage, meaning you'll take less damage from a hit if your vest is level 3 than level 2, and you now carry armor plates to repair rather than having to go all the way to the arsenal to fix it. The crafting bench returns as well. More menus, hooray. You can craft your nades here alongside armor plates and score streaks. Okay, next topic.
Zombies.
There's honestly not too much to say about the zombies other than the fact that armored zombies have made a return. Fan-goated, remove these guys. So why are they back? Like, why? As for special zombies, however, the only real new enemy we got is the Doppelgast, which came out with Season 1 Reloaded. The Parasite returns from Black Ops 3, the Abomination from Black Ops Cold War, and the Manglers, who I'd be happy to never see again. Ever. We did get 2 new enemies though, the Amalgam and the Vermin. However, they are both just downgrades of enemies we've already had from other maps. Honestly, the special enemies in this game are quite disappointing. I don't really think there's anything wrong with reusing old enemies, but it is kinda boring. It doesn't really help that the new enemies are just worse versions of older enemies. As for perks, we get 8 old perks and 1 new one. Those being Juggernog, Quick Revive, Speed Cola, PhD Flopper, Stamina Up, Deadshot Daiquiri, Vulture Aid, Elemental Pop, and Melee Macchiato. And sadly, no Double Tap. Melee Macchiato is the new perk replacing the Bowie Knife wall buy, essentially. It's okay. It's a bit slow and clunky to use, but since Black Ops 6 has no perk limit, it's worth getting if you got the points. The other 8 perks do what they've always done. I'm not gonna sit here and explain what all the zombies perks do. Though one thing I do have to say is that the downgrade of the Vulture Aid machine is insane. This thing is fucking ugly. Field upgrades are the same as the wands or artifacts from Cold War and Vanguard. There is Aether Shroud, Energy Mine, Frenzied Guard, Healing Aura, Tesla Storm, and one new one called Dark Flare. You can pause the video here if you want to read what each one does. All you gotta know is that Dark Flare isn't very good, and these pistol gun field upgrade things take way too long to go away. Ammo mods modify your ammo. Brain Rot turns zombies into allies. Cryo Freeze slows down zombies. Dead Wire electrocutes them. Napalm Burst burns them. Shadow Rift rifts them? Something like that. And Light Mend, which drops pills that heal you. No, glyphs that heal you. The one big thing with this game though is that perks, field upgrades, and ammo mods can all be augmented with augments, which are unlocked by selecting one and then earning XP, which I know, very exciting. They allow you to modify your abilities. There is one major augment and one minor. As example, I can augment my energy mine to split into pieces or hold up to 2 charges. I can have Dead Wire activate lightning strikes, and Quick Revive can be turned into Dying Wish from Black Ops 4. Obviously, some of these are better than others, but it is always fun to experiment with new things.
Oh right, and weapons.
Weapons don't really feel unique again, due to them having to be balanced the same. Some weapons do have unique abilities once packed, but other than that, it's just a damage boost. I recommend the GS45 and ASG89. Oh, and marksman rifles are really bad. The challenges and camos are pretty fun, although a lot of them are the same from older games, which is honestly fine with me. You can only make so many unique challenges. The Dark Ops challenges are fun, which are hidden challenges that are on the more difficult side. The other challenges are basic stuff, kill zombies X amount of times with X thing. Camos are quite grindy, with every weapon requiring 2,000 kills or headshots depending on the weapon. They are even more grindy when you realize you gotta kill 30 specials and then 10 elites. I do think it is really cool that the majority of camos are just reused from Black Ops 4. Thank you, Treyarch. Very cool. One big step up from Black Ops Cold War so far are the amount of Easter eggs on each map. They feel jam-packed with all kinds of things to do. I mean, you got free power-ups, you can bowl, free perks again, Ancient Pirate Treasure, bartending, Rat King from Shaolin Shuffle Infinite Warfare Zombies, and the list goes on. I'm really impressed with how much content they put into each map. The main quests are a lot of fun too, still not as hard as the old ones, but fun nonetheless. The boss fights have been really good too. They said in the marketing that this game takes notes from Black Ops 3, which was reintroducing the gobblegums and the microtransactions. These gumballs basically give you a free advantage from giving you a free perk, freezing zombies, or even making zombies fart. You unlock these for free at random just by playing the game, and unlike back in the day, none of them are unlimited. Vanguard, believe it or not, actually sets up Black Ops 6 with some interesting lore. Now, this isn't because they wrote something good, this is because they took Black Ops 4's Chaos story and made it canon. All jokes aside, most of Vanguard's original lore is pretty good. They brought back a dedicated 4-man crew consisting of Weaver, Gray, Carver, and Maya. Gray was annoying in Black Ops Cold War.
Oh, of course. Leave it to the Nazis to create a weapon that literally spells out die. Do you think they even knew they were the baddies?
Shut the fuck up!
And now she's irrelevant. Carver was irrelevant in Cold War and is somehow even more irrelevant. Weaver hates Richtofen and has become incredibly annoying. And Maya is the only interesting character. Peck, Strauss, and Ravenov also return, and Kraft from Vanguard, and then also gets immediately killed. Now, as much as I'd like to keep talking about the story here, we kind of already know what happens to these characters because of Modern Warfare Zombies, so, like, honestly, who cares? Like, I don't even... Now, finally, the maps. The game launched with 2, Liberty Falls and Terminus. Citadel Day More eventually released with Season 1 Reloaded just 6 weeks after launch. The Doom released with Season 2. Liberty Falls takes place in a small town in West Virginia and serves as a map for Zombies newcomers. It is incredibly simple, has no setup, and has no complex level design. Power is on by default, and you don't even have to unlock Pack-a-Punch. Nope, that is not a joke. They just kinda give it to you.
Oh yeah.
The map is clearly designed for learning the game or grinding out camos and challenges easily. This map's wonder weapon, however, is the jet gun, or Thrustodyne Aeronautics Model 23. I gotta say, it's a pretty good nostalgic comeback for the jet gun, going from one of the worst, most unfun garbage wonder weapons to one that is a lot of fun. The weapon no longer breaks when it's used for too long and has an explosive blast on its right click. The special enemies on this map are the Vermin, Manglers, and Abominations, the name Abomination being a reference to the game design of itself. Their Easter egg is also quite simple, but it is still fun. I personally quite like this map. I came into this game thinking I'd hate it, but the simplicity of it reminds me of the older games. It is a shame that there is no dedicated crew for this one though. Terminus was the big launch map for the game, and it takes place 6 years after the ending of Black Ops Cold War. It's basically a prison break on a black site island that is both a jail and a laboratory. The map is mid. It looks cool and the main area plays well, but the islands feel more like a gimmick rather than being a part of the actual map. This is due to the fact that you are forced to hop on a boat and drive there for a minute, which slows the gameplay down to a complete halt. Every game of Terminus I play, I never even leave the main island unless I'm doing the Easter egg. This map actually has a setup where you turn on 3 amp generators scattered around the map and then jump into a water to get Pack-a-Punch.
Hooray!
I know that's not exactly difficult, especially with the notifications telling you where to go, but it is better than nothing. This map's wonder weapon is the DRI-11 Beam Smasher, which not only looks amazing, but is amazing. It's very unique. Left click shoots a beam, and right click slows them down. Shooting a slowed zombie in the head with a beam increases its damage, so there is some skill involved. It is definitely an active wonder weapon, rather than one that just kills everything for you. The special enemies on this map are the Vermin, Parasites, Manglers, and Amalgams, which I cannot believe I dislike these more than the Abominations. They're just incredibly boring walking bullet sponges that don't really do anything special. The Easter egg is a lot of fun too, and it is quite challenging, but the steps make sense and the boss fight is difficult. It's not a good boss fight, but it is difficult. I kind of like this map, but it isn't anything special. I definitely wouldn't go out of my way to try and play it. Citadel Day More is the worst map ever made, as it kills the Vanguard lore guy.
Man, I'm dead.
Citadel released with Season 1 Reloaded, and it's definitely my favorite of the 3 so far. It takes place by a French village and castle overtaken by a French crime syndicate. French! This map focuses more on the golden era of zombies with a more unique tone and vibe, alongside some pretty interesting
That's why
lore.
your mama dead.
There's also 4 buildable elemental weapons, a Blundell classic, and magic spells like Elden Ring, or Skyrim, or Baldur's Gate. It has a good map layout, and the fast travel location is put in the right area. The swords are also
Okay,
pretty
dragon,
decently
give.
balanced.
Give sword.
Me claim that bitch.
Romanian detected. Romanian detected.
And are all fun to use. The 4 swords you can build are Balmung, Caliburn, Durandal, and Solace. The quests to build these are incredibly easy if compared to something like Origins, but I'm honestly okay with that, though it is a shame that there's no upgrade quest for these. There's not really much of a setup for this map either. You just break into the castle and you kill a Doppelgast for Pack-a-Punch. The special zombies are the Parasites, Doppelgast, and the... Amalgam. The Easter egg is a bit lengthier and more difficult, and also a lot more fun. The boss fight is amazing too, as the boss itself is the major threat, not the zombies. I really like this map, and so far it's the only one I'd keep Black Ops 6 installed for. With Season 2's release, we got The Tomb, the worst advertised map we've ever had, even compared to these two.
Radioactive what? Ding!
It's a filler map.
Bruh.
Nothing notable happens, both gameplay and story-wise. The tomb takes place in an ancient Roman tomb. There's also the Dark Aether, which has a really cool PNG skybox. There really is nothing special about this map.
They advertised this map as an Origins sequel, but all we got is some of the soundtrack from Origins and the Ice Staff. Obviously, the Ice Staff can be upgraded to Ol's Arrow.
The special zombies are, well, every special zombie type, except for the Abomination. That includes the Amalgam. Oh, and shock mimics. They're just mimics from the older games, but now they shock you. The main quest is just doing 5 challenges and then fighting the boss, which in all fairness is the most challenging we've had so far. This is the easiest of the 4 maps. The side Easter eggs give you free perks, Pack-a-Punch, weapon tiers, and even a ray gun. I like this map, but there's just not really much going for it. It's definitely better than Liberty Falls though. Okay, so before I go, some quick random thoughts. The Pack-a-Punch camos in this game are god-awful. Citadel's probably being the worst of all time. Score streaks, still hard carry. No big surprise. Exfils still aren't interesting. Get a chopper gunner and you instantly win. The game over screen now has death animations, which are pretty cool.
I wish a woman would do that to me.
Completing an Easter egg gives you an option to immediately exfil or continue the game, which gives you the usual rewards. There is no offline play anymore. You have to play online, even solo. This means you can lag out in a solo game and it is awful. On the contrary, you can now save solo games and you can continue to play later, which is probably the best thing they have ever added. There is no point in using the mystery box. Your loadout weapons will always be better. The traps we get in this game are pretty fun, and they still give points per kill, which is a good thing, even if it is a small amount. So yeah, I mean, if you like zombies, you'll probably like this game. I suppose I have to give it a final rating, so I'll give it a out of.
Oh no, soap, no.
Who honestly gives a single damn about Warzone? This mode has been terrible longer than it has been good. A big part of why it's terrible is how it normalized for Activision to see and treat Call of Duty as a free-to-play game, despite it costing 70 buckaroos. With such a premium price, you'd expect you'll be getting all the content as it comes, but some of it is hidden behind a battle pass. Which, you know what? That's fine. You pay 10 bucks one time and then you get each subsequent one for free because you get more COD points out of the battle pass than it costs. Assuming you played the game, of course. Well, that was the case before they reduced the amount of COD points battle passes have from leaving you in a surplus to leaving you with exactly enough. But now, there's also a black sale pass that costs $30 per season. That's almost half of the game just to be able to get infinitely cooler rewards out of the battle pass you already own. And if that's not enough, how about an event that gives you mid rewards unless you cough up those sweet COD points you'd use for the next battle pass in favor of this limited time event track that has rewards that actually look like someone gave a fuck when they made them. The point is that you are not a player, you are a wallet, and you'll feel like one no matter how good the game is mechanically, resulting in Black Ops 6 having the potential to be one of the greats, but ultimately ending up as a mediocre game due to the brazen greed of people who Peter Griffin would call a certain word. Rating-wise, that puts Black Ops 6 at a classified out of 10. That's about it. Massive thanks to Cronem for the zombies enlightenment. If you enjoyed his editing, go threaten him to make more videos. And of course, don't forget to slap like, slap wife, hit subscribe, and I shall get you next time, okay?